Today's video is inspired by another reseller that I ran into who was considering getting out of the reselling game because they said that younger resellers were kind of ruining it. I don't want to put words in this person's mouth, but it alluded to kind of ruining it for others because they were using AI to look items up at the thrift store and be able to tell right away whether something was worth selling on eBay or not. I was mulling this over, and then the next day I was at a garage sale, and sure enough, I saw two guys. They look, if they were out of their teens, I would be surprised, but they looked like they were maybe late teens, early 20s, and they were clicking pictures at a garage sale of different items, vintage items, all kinds of things, and talking it over. Now, I use Google image search and I will also search using the eBay image function. But this reseller was telling me, no, 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 they're using AI, uploading a photo and having AI tell them what it would sell for on eBay. So I thought, okay, one, either this is fantastic or there could be a lot of problems if you're only relying on AI. So I thought, I'm going to challenge AI today. We're going to look at my thrift haul. We're going to take a look at the research I did versus the research AI comes up with and the pricing and see who does a better job. Let me know what you think about this using AI to enhance your reselling game. I personally am all for it. Anything that makes my job easier, as long as it's effective, I am definitely on board for. And I think some of us seasoned resellers, if we are able to save time doing something like this, then it might be worth our while to learn how. A rule of thumb that I usually have for my thrifting is I don't like to pick up things that are too big, that are going to take a huge amount of space up in my inventory room, or things that are going to be a challenge to ship. But when I saw this milk can, I knew that this could bring in a huge amount of money. It is really big, it's in great condition, and it's brass and copper. I'm going to drop an image of this into ChatGPT and ask it to tell me what this item is and what it might sell for if I were to flip it on eBay. First, we'll see what AI has to say, and then I'll share with you my research to see if it matches up.
This is a vintage brass and copper milk can, often referred to as a decorative farmhouse style milk jug or dairy can. These are typically used for rustic home decor or vintage farmhouse interior design themes and are highly collectible, especially when they're made of mixed metals like this one, brass body with copper banding. Material, brass body with copper accent bands. Originally utilitarian, used for milk transport, now mostly decorative. Era likely mid 20th century or a later reproduction made for decorative purposes. Style farmhouse colonial revival rustic chic. Worth a good condition and polished milk can, $60 to $100. Minor wear or patina, $40 to $80. Damaged or heavily tarnished, $20 to $40. Tips to sell for higher value. Polish it well, unless you want to appeal to buyers who prefer natural patina. Include size weight in the listing, height and diameter matter. Use keywords.
Well, it definitely gave a lot of information. It gave me lots of great keywords and a little more history than I actually needed. And it is spot on as far as what the item is and what its value could be depending on the condition. So, my research showed that the size that I've got, because it is quite large, there's a sold on eBay for a copper one very similar to mine that sold for $88.50. Mine is a mixed metal of copper and brass, so the price for that one could reflect the copper price because copper, even if you scrap copper, it can be worth a lot of money. And then there's another copper one that definitely has some tarnish. It doesn't have that beautiful copper shine that is up for $150. Based on the solds and the information that I learned, I'm going to put mine up for $150 and allow buyers to send best offers. Next up is this beautiful Whiting and Davis mesh handbag. This one actually still had the tag intact on this, which is fantastic, and a beautiful lucite handle. When I looked this purse up, I couldn't find one exactly like it. I found some that had the same mesh body, but not the right handle. I found some that had the black mesh body and the same handle. So it was a kind of mixed bag trying to figure out the price on this one. But for me, because the item was practically brand new, still had the tags intact, and it was in immaculate condition, that's really going to put it on the higher end on the value. All right, my turn to go first. I saw a very similar one up on eBay for $55. And I found two that were very similar to mine up on Mercari that were sold. One was $43 and one was $50. Let's see what AI makes of this one.
This appears to be a vintage mesh evening handbag, likely from the 1950s to 1970s, possibly made by brands such as Whiting and Davis, Dorian, or Glow Mesh, all known for metal mesh purses. The orange marbled lucite handles and hard frame are strong indicators of mid-century style. The body is a metal mesh, often enameled in bright patterns like the red and black seen here. Lucite handle and frame. Swirled orange suggests 1950s to 60s. Metal mesh body, possibly enameled aluminum or brass. Clasp style, common in mid-century structured handbags. No visible brand marking on the outside, so inside branding or tags would help with exact ID. Estimated eBay value, assuming no damage and it's in good working condition, clasp, lining, and handles intact. Excellent if branded, clean inside. Unbranded but stylish vintage, 25 to 45. Damaged or heavily worn, $10 to $20.
Well, it seems like AI is spot on for this one because it is an excellent branded condition, and the estimated price that it gave was between $35 and $75. I'll probably put mine up right around the $60 mark and allow for best offers. This next item I thought was so unique, and I did use Google image search in the store because I hadn't seen anything quite like it before. It was really cool. I wasn't sure I wanted to spend the money on this, even though it was only $3, because I didn't know exactly what it was. I knew that it was some sort of plaque. It was marked Texas Instruments, and it had this missile or rocket on it. And when I looked it up with a Google image search, I did find one very similar on eBay that sold for $194. It had the same rocket, but it had a different base. And being able to use that Google search and find it on eBay, I was able to identify what the type of rocket it is, which will really help me when it comes time to list it. I found another that was similar with a different rocket or missile that sold for $185. And just looking around, I saw another one with a different missile that was up for sale for over $300.
You found a military missile desk model, specifically a scale model display of a missile or guided munition, likely made for presentation, recognition, or commemorative purposes. Model, the shape suggests it's a Navy missile, possibly an AGM-84 Harpoon, AGM-88 Harm, or a Tomahawk cruise missile. Type condition, estimated sold price. Specific model with Navy contractor label, $50 to $150.
Well, it looks like it's pretty close to the same price. The ones I saw that sold on eBay definitely sold for a little bit more than what the ChatGPT gave me. So it's worth looking up. Let's jump to the next one. This time I gave ChatGPT two images because I wanted it to see the front part that had the owl and that the other part was expandable.
This is a vintage brass expandable book rack or adjustable bookend, featuring Art Nouveau style owl end panels. These types of pieces are collectible for both their practical function and decorative appeal, especially when they include animals like owls, which have a strong collector market. These pieces are not only functional for holding books, but also add a touch of vintage charm to any desk or shelf. The intricate detailing and the brass construction make it a durable and decorative piece that appeals to collectors and those looking for unique home decor. Estimated eBay resale value. Condition, acceptable price, dollar value range. Excellent polished brass, $45 to $90. Tarnished or worn finish, $25 to $35.
I will say that it was pretty spot on for the expandable book rack as well. It did say up to $90, and the ones that I saw that sold, one sold for $75, and it wasn't in as good condition as the one that I have. And another that sold for $69.99. Again, it had that vintage patina on it. It had not been polished. And though I didn't show ChatGPT the mark specifically, when I did a Google image search, it definitely popped up the name of the maker. And that's something that ChatGPT just did not find or did not populate in the results that it gave me. So I would say that in this case, I got a little bit of extra points because I was able to find the maker for this as well. But I am liking how it's giving me extra keywords that I could use in my description or titles. The next thing I found were these sterling silver spoons. They were made in Thailand, and on the back side of the spoon, it's marked Sterling, Thailand. I did give ChatGPT a little clue on that because I just dropped in a photograph of the front of the spoons, and I did tell it that the marks were sterling Thailand, just to be able to give it a little extra information to go off of. Because when I did a Google search on these, it pulled up all sorts of different demi-tasse spoons. Some were silver plate, some were sterling, and it made it a lot harder to weed through all of that information to find the ones that were for sure sterling, for sure Thailand, and that I could get a really good feel for what price I might put on these. I'll go first on this one. This is one of the items that pulled up when I just did a regular Google search, and $24 would not be enough for me on these sterling spoons because I will definitely weigh them and check the silver value. I don't want to sell sterling silver for less than the scrap value because that's just giving money away. If somebody wants to buy them to scrap, they are definitely scouring those eBay and Etsy sellers that maybe are not weighing and measuring the items because they will get them for cheap and maybe scrap them or flip them on their own because they know the value is a lot more if they're sterling silver. Here is a set that's very similar to what I have that is up for $300. And here is a single spoon that is up for $25. Let's see what AI makes of this one.
These are vintage souvenir demitasse spoons from Thailand, and yes, the sterling Thailand marking, not shown in the image but likely on the back of the handles, indicates that they are made of sterling silver, 92.5% silver content. Despite their gold tone appearance, they may be gold washed or just polished. Okay, what you have: set of 6 demitasse spoons, condition estimated price of 6 of 6. Excellent boxed, $50 to $120. Minor wear or patina, $40 to $80. Damaged or heavily tarnished, $20 to $40.
This is one that I will have to check because I will for sure test them because stamps are cheap. So I want to make sure that they are indeed sterling silver. So I'll test them and I'll make sure to put that into my listing. And then I will also weigh them and I will go to the scrap calculator website. And this site has a calculator where you can put in the metal, the purity of the metal, and the weight, and it will tell you what the current scrap value is. Now, this is something that because of the design, it adds value to it. So I will want to certainly list my item above the scrap price. Because there are 6 of them, I would put at least $150 on this, if not more, depending on what I find when I test and weigh them. Next up is a brand I love to find, and it's Washerbach. And I'm not sure I'm saying that right. I'm pretty sure I'm not. But one way I like to remember it is I joke and I say it looks like it's saying wash her back. Wash her back, wash her back. And I know that's not pronouncing it correctly, but if it helps you remember it, then I am willing to say it incorrectly. So if you see any wash her back, then make sure you pick it up. They are made in Germany and they can sell for a lot of money. I found 2 of these Washerbach red cereal bowls at the Goodwill. I found a sold listing on eBay for a little over $25 and another sold for over $15. What I will do is create one listing with a quantity of 2. So if someone wants to buy one, they can. If they want to buy both of them, they can. I will probably put them both up at $17.99. That way, if the buyer wants to buy both of them, I will still be making more money by parting them out. As you saw with these 2 listings, one of them sold for just over 15, 2 of them sold for 25. They probably could have gotten a little bit more either by doing a quantity of 2 or just putting a higher price on them.
This is a Waitressbach Germany red ceramic soup bowl, known for its high gloss glaze and iconic bright red color. Waitressbach is a well-known German ceramics company, particularly popular for its mid-century modern and holiday dinnerware. The raised bell mark you see on the base is one of their recognizable trademarks. Okay, what it is: Waitressbach Germany, estimated sold price each. Excellent no chips, $10 to $20. Set of 4 to 6 bowls, $40 to $90. Rare patterns, $25 to $50 per bowl. Christmas themed or heart patterned pieces can go for more.
I do have one more question. Is this an item that would sell more quickly or is it something that would take longer? Quickly for me would be it sells within 3 months. Something that would take longer would be 6 months or more.
Given the popularity of Waitress Bock red ceramic pieces, especially those with a recognizable mark like this one, it's likely to sell within 3 months provided it's priced competitively and listed with good photos and keywords.
We're still going through the rest of the pieces, but I can definitely see the value in this. Whether or not it's going to be accurate as far as how quickly something might sell, I do know that this washer buck will sell quickly because it's something that I've been picking up for years. I bought some last summer at a garage sale and it almost all has sold already. I want to ask it about the Navy missile one because I have a feeling that's one that will sit for a little longer. The missile desk plate, is that something you think would sell more quickly or something that would take longer to sell? Please keep your answer concise.
The missile desk plate is a niche collectible, so it might take longer to sell. Expect around 6 months or more unless you find a specialized buyer quickly.
Before we go on, I want to thank you for being here and watching this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that. I am going to be changing in just a moment because you'll see that I'm wearing something different in the next portion of this video. I recorded the first part of this and then there was no audio, so I had to redo it all. So let's continue on with the rest. Let me know if you've used any sort of AI to help you along your reselling journey and leave a comment because I'd love to see what you're using as well. Let's continue. The next thing I picked up is a ginger jar. I really like selling ginger jars, especially if they have a unique pattern on them. And this one was really pretty with some kind of blossoms. I wasn't 100% sure. Really a nice piece. Let's see what AI made of this.
This is a Japanese style decorative porcelain vase, likely mid 20th century, featuring hand painted cherry blossoms and a metal clad rim with an ornate floral design. However, it's important to note visible condition issue. There is a large prominent crack running down the side.
So what I'm seeing is no crack, but I think it's just picking up the tape that the thrift store put on it as a crack. So, all right, I win one on this one, AI. So if it's excellent with no damage, $30 to $60, with a visible crack like this one or not, $5 to $20. Let's see what I found about this ginger jar. It also called it a vase, and it isn't a vase. I suppose you could use it as a vase if it didn't have the lid on it. This one is very similar that is up for sale for $35 on eBay. And then here's another one that is very similar that's up for sale for $44.25. This one does have a little stand, unless the stand is not included, I'm not sure. I will say that it is right on the mark with the value. However, it called it a vase, and I'm going to take points where I can, and it said it was damaged. So half a point for me, I'll say. The next thing I picked up is this Dynasty paperweight. And I will give the AI a little clue because I don't show the bottom, and it does say Dynasty on the tag on the bottom. So I will give it a little bit of a head start.
This appears to be a hand blown art glass paperweight, and the style is often associated with Dynasty Gallery, a company known for vibrant, collectible glass paperweights, especially those made in the 1980s through early 2000s. Condition excellent, signed or labeled, $25 to $60. Unmarked but high quality, $15 to $30. Minor chips or scratches, $8 to $15.
Let's see what I found out about this one. I didn't find the same exact one that was sold, but I did find this one, and this one is also not marked Dynasty. That sold for $24.95. Depending on the style of the Dynasty glass paperweight, the color, what it looks like. I mean, there's a lot of different factors that can go into what it's worth. And mine looks a lot like this one, so I will probably put it around that $25 to $30 range. Well, how do you think AI did? I think it did pretty good. This is something that can be used as a tool. I wouldn't 100% go off of any AI or ChatGPT because it might miss some of the more nuanced keywords that you might be aware of that buyers would be looking for. I do use Google image search when I'm in the thrift store to help me identify more quickly if something is worth picking up. I don't 100% go off of it because it doesn't always show accurate pricing, and sometimes the items don't show up at all. Using the Google image search is a lot more accurate, I find, than the eBay image search. eBay image search does work sometimes, but not all the time. What do you think? Are you using any of these tools and will you coming up in the future? And what do you think? Should I let AI help me with a jewelry haul? Let me know in the comments. If you're a reseller or maybe you're just curious about what things are worth flipping, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any content that might help you along your path. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for hanging out.